Everyone. Well, I feel like I've really made it on TikTok because people have actually asked me for my top 10 Dramiones of the year. That's very exciting to me. It was a really hard list to make, much harder than my non-fan fiction top 10 to make. But I did it. Not all heroes wear capes. I hope that you enjoy this. It's a little bit of a longer video. I'm sorry, you can hold to speed up. All right, let's get into it. I decided to do only full-length fics. I had to give myself some boundaries, which did make me sad because I had then to leave off Pacific Rim Bod's one-shots, which are seriously some of my favorite Dramiones stuff that I read this year. I also ended up leaving off some of the lighter, fluffier fics, which hurt my heart a bit because I really do love Morgan Mercy and Scully Murphy. If you love a rom-com Dramione, those are your girls. I'm going to make a Dramione superlatives video because there were just so many more I wanted to put on here and I feel deserve recognition. If I had to pick honorable mentions, I'm going to pick Bad Omens by One Bed to Rule Them All because it's the one that made me laugh the hardest and what a freaking plot. And also The Auction, which was just an incredible feat by Julie Soto. Probably my favorite, Lucius and Narcissa. Their relationship with Hermione was almost as good as the romance with her and Draco. I await Rose and Chains very excitedly. Okay, so at number 10, I'm putting Isolation by Bex Chan. So Draco spends the first part of year 7 hiding in Hermione's head girl suite and just clings to sanity while falling for the golden girl. When the Death Eaters come, he has to decide where he stands. It's just a great exploration of Draco's internal conflict. It's a great exploration of how Draco on the other side would have changed events. It's popular for a reason. It's very, very good. I can't believe I'm putting this at number 9, but it's Remain Nameless by Hey Jude 19. This is an absolutely beautiful fic about Draco's inner conflict as he struggles to follow Hermione back into the light post-war. Just a beautiful, beautiful romance between the two of them. Starts as little dates at a coffee shop, and it just grows. It has one of my favorite tropes, which is Draco becoming part of the Gryffindors in such a beautiful way, and especially the relationship he develops with Ginny. Mwah, so good. I'm sorry that it's number 9. It's not. It's number 1 in my heart. These are all number 1 in my heart. All right, number 8 is Measure of a Man by Inadays 22. Again, an exquisite character study of the two of them. So years after the war, Hermione goes to work as a healer for Narcissa, and she finds Draco, a widowed single father. The two of them, who are really nothing to each other, but they have to work together to help both Narcissa and 5-year-old Scorpius. They both have to face their own demons and their own inner conflicts and their own faults in order to find their way to each other. It is a long, slow burn, but I have never seen character development like this in a Dramione. It's truly spectacular. Also, it has a Gryffindor-Slytherin combination friend group to die for, but mostly it has just the best little Scorpius you could ever want. Number 7 is Timeless by Alexandra Emerson. This is inspired by The Time Traveler's Wife. Draco finds himself with a shard of a time turner inside himself, which causes him to jump around in time. He jumps forward 6 years and finds himself happily married to Hermione, which throws his present-day self into uncertain turmoil. Sorry, I'm editing this because I forgot to record the last part of this. This fic was brilliantly plotted. A warning that the last third is very sad, but it is HEA. Again, we've got a Gryffindor-Slytherin combo friend group, which I would just give anything to be a part of. It's a really good one. Okay, number 6 is Secrets and Masks by Emerald Slytherin. Again, it's crazy to me that this is number 6. If you know, you know. This is an AU wartime fic where Hermione, not on her own volition, finds herself captured and fighting the Order alongside the Slytherins until they all decide to turn the tables and fight Voldemort. This one will absolutely break you, but it will also live in your mind forever. The reveals in this one had me choking, gagging. Also, it contains some of my favorite renderings of the Slytherin characters. Astoria is amazing. Daphne, and broken psychopath Theo. It is a rough banger. Okay, this one hurts to have it at 5. This is A Year and a Day by AML Coco. Why are they all so damn good? This is a grown-up fic. They're already in their mid-30s. Draco is a divorced single father of a preteen Scorpius, and Narcissa arranges for Draco and Hermione, who is sort of flailing in her life, to get married in order for Draco to win full custody of Scorpius. This one may contain my favorite versions of the two of them, both of them. Hermione is fully brilliant in this one, and I just loved her brain in this one and what she created and came up with. Draco is protective, he's her champion, he's her everything. It is so freaking beautiful. And the epilogue inspired my tattoo. um, because it caught my heart off guard and blew it open. Okay, number 4 is Love and Other Historical Accidents by Pacific Rimbaud. Pacific Rimbaud has established herself as one of my top fave Hermione authors, if not the best. I don't know. She's so good. Her writing is beyond exquisitely beautiful. The plot of this is impressively rendered. So they're coworkers and they have a time turner accident and find themselves 200 years in the past in Regency, England. They have to assimilate with the pure blood families that are around in the area, including the Longbottoms, as well as a Weasley ancestor and others, while they attempt to find their way back to the present. Their banter is just some of the best I've ever read. It's really funny. It's really lovely. This whole thing is Jane Austen meets Doctor Who, meets Hermione, and some of the lines in this will just take your breath away. In fact, the very last line of this fic may be like in my top 5 favorite last lines of any book ever. And speaking of last lines you'll never forget, number 3 is Manacled by Senlin Yu. This was the first one I read, and at first it horrified me, but then it drew me into the world of Hermione so permanently, so I have to give it its due. I feel like I don't even really need to tell you what this is about, because if you've read Hermione, you've probably read this one. But this is an AU alternate universe where Voldemort won the war and the leftover Order women are sent to live with Death Eaters, Handmaid's Tale style. Yeah. Hermione, without any of her memories, is imprisoned at Malfoy Manor. I'll tell you, the first third of this is rough, as you can imagine. As her memories come back, though, the most beautiful love story between the two of them is revealed. Senlin Yu is able to do so much with like glances, twitches of hands, meaningful dialogue. It's just, and the last line of this book will take you down. I only read this once, but I could quote the ending, as could anyone who has read it. Okay, so number 2 is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Olivia Blake. I don't know why this one isn't more popular. I don't hear it talked about. Olivia Blake is now also one of my favorite fanfic authors. I have read so much of her stuff this year. I am loving Amortentia. I loved Clean and Marked. I loved Divination for Skeptics. Those are all good. If you loved any of those, you should read this one. It's a longer one than the other one, so it's kind of like 1,000 pages. It's an epic one. I did make a longer video about this one if you want to learn more about it, but basically it's post-war. Hermione is dealing with her trauma by underground boxing, and Draco's dealing with his by being a potions assassin. When the Peverell brothers find their way to the present time, our favorite duo has to work together, but with the best slate of side characters you could imagine to investigate to take them down. This fic has a knot pot, which is Theo and Harry, that you'll never forget. It has maybe my favorite Daphne ever. Just the dialogue is maybe the best dialogue I've ever read in any book. It's hilarious. The whole book is exciting. It's incredibly paced. It's epic, as I said. It's just everything. Please, if you've read this one, let me know, so I don't feel so alone in my love for this one. More people need to read it. And finally, number 1, you could probably guess it. It's Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love by Is This Self-Care, who is actually Brigitte Knightley. I mean, yeah, this one has to be number 1. If Manacled brought me into the Dramiones fold, this one poured cement around my feet so that I can never leave. This is probably one of my favorite romances of all time, of any romance. It also has an amazing plot, though. Draco is a bored, lazy Auror who gets assigned to protection of Hermione Granger as she develops a controversial cure that puts her in danger. He finds himself traipsing all over the country, following her in her wake, seriously in denial that he's falling in love with her. It's funny, it's exciting. The banter, it had me Googling locations and adding to my bucket travel list. Draco POVs will always be tops for me, and this is the OG epitome. I await the original fic version of this with such excitement. The irresistible urge to fall for your enemy is coming July 8th. Cannot wait. Okay, I did it. Do you agree with me? What do you think? Please share your opinions. If you've read any of these, especially How to Win Friends and Influence People, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time. Bye.